I'm Jenni Carlson here with Ryan Aber. We're at the Lloyd Noble Center where Oklahoma has defeated Iowa State 94-83. And Ryan, we knew this was going to be a tight game, and it proved to be back and forth, both teams having spurts. But maybe the most important and decisive spurt was right before halftime, and Oklahoma was the benefactor of that.
Yeah, the Sooners trailed by 10 with about 5 minutes left. It cut it to 7 with 1:14 left, and Buddy Hield just took over. Hield off a missed three, which Iowa State hadn't missed many of. They were 9 of 12 from behind the three-point line to that point. Tayshawn Thomas grabs it, feeds it up. Buddy Hield finishes it with a layup. And the next possession, Hield gets a steal, feeds it up to Jordan Woodard for a very nice reverse layup. And then Buddy Hield does it himself yet again with a big-time three we've seen him do over his Sooners career that tied it at halftime. And it felt like at that point that Oklahoma was up by 6 or 8 at the break because of the way the momentum had shifted to the Sooners.
Well, and then Oklahoma comes out in the second half and just keeps adding to that lead. But then we saw Iowa State cut it back and get the game back to tied. So Oklahoma was in a dogfight in this one. So the ability to stretch that to double digits was really impressive. And they did it without shooting a bunch of free throws, didn't get to the line until extremely late in the game for the first time, and only 7 turnovers. Was that key, or did you feel like defensively they did some things to finally slow Iowa State down?
Well, for one, Iowa State stopped hitting as many three-pointers, which certainly helped. But they did make some adjustments there. But being able to hold onto the ball, only 7 turnovers in a game where the tempo was as frenetic as it was tonight, really up-tempo from start to finish. Looked like a game from last season with OU, the way they used to push it offensively. Haven't really done that much this year, but that was a big key. And also getting contributions from everybody. All of their starters had fantastic games. Only Jordan Woodard wasn't in double figures tonight. And also Frank Booker had a fantastic game off the bench. Hit a couple of big threes in the first half that helped keep them in the game, and then hit some more in the second half that helped them stretch out that lead.
Lastly, Oklahoma now in sole possession of second place in the league. Still have the 4 losses against them, but, games remaining against Kansas and obviously go to Iowa State. They've got a chance to still make a little push and maybe make the Jayhawks sweat a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They do have, like you said, a game at Ames and Lawrence, or Kansas comes here to end in the Big 12 season at Lloyd Noble Center. So certainly they have a chance. A couple weeks ago, we sort of written off the Big 12 as being Kansas's game yet again. But after Oklahoma State beat the Jayhawks this weekend, and now this game, it certainly throws everything into question a little bit at least.
All right, let's hear what Lon Kruger, coach of the Sooners, and Tayshawn Thomas, the big man inside, had to say after the game tonight.
It's a good win. Anytime you can, beat a club like Iowa State, I think they're great. And I thought they had us, kind of trying to catch up there the first half. Their transition was terrific out of the gate, and didn't think we had a very good handle on their half. Defensively, first 15, 16 minutes, I thought they were just too fast out of the backcourt. Then when we did finally get it slowed a little bit and get a little foundation defensively, I thought from that point on we battled pretty good. But the guys hung in there. When we were down 10, they just kept plugging and kept talking about getting stops. And obviously Iowa State was making some shots at that time, which they can do. But then I thought really moved the ball well, made good plays for each other, and kind of turned to the attack in the second half.
How much did it help, Lon, the fact that you could go to the block and get good results tonight? How much did that help you?
We're doing that a little bit more and more with each game. And when Tay and Ryan do what they are doing now and can do, I think we'll do it more. Guys on the perimeter love that because if we can play inside out, that makes better shots for everyone and gives us a chance to get to the free throw line and gives us a chance to establish a little bit of low post stuff.
Tayshawn, do you feel like you ought to have the day off before big games more often?
Nah, I just think I need to watch more film before the day before a game. That's all I did yesterday. When I didn't after practice, I just went home and watched a lot of film. So I feel like I need to do that more often.
Tayshawn, how important was it? You guys were down 10, and then the last 5 minutes, you guys managed to go under a tie. How good was that stretch at the end of the half?
That was a very important stretch right there because we tied it up and we built momentum going into the second half. And we kept going into that when we just told each other to stay together, man. We just we got to keep fighting. We're at home. It's going to be easy for us to get momentum to go with us, and that's what we just stayed on, just kept on grinding.
Now the Sooners get ready to head to Kansas State to try to avenge a surprising overtime loss earlier this year against the Wildcats.
Yeah, definitely. That was a game that nobody saw coming. Marcus Foster hadn't played well at all to that point. Hit a couple big shots in that game late, forces overtime with a big floater, and then hits a 3 in overtime to send the Wildcats to the win. Marcus Foster, though, could be out for this game. He's been suspended, won't play Wednesday night in Kansas State's game. There's a chance he comes back Saturday, but we'll see. That's a reeling Wildcats team right now.
Always something interesting in the Big 12. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.